Welcome to MiSpot, where we balance, heal, and activate who we truly are. You can call me High Key, Kiki. Tonight we're celebrating the last quarter moon. We're a little late, but that's all right. The energy is still here, and not only are we going to talk about the last quarter moon and what we are making room for, but we're also going to talk about the top transits of the week and what planets are doing and what signs they're moving into and how that energy could be impacting you. And then we're going to pull a few cards and get some confirmation of what we are downloading. And then we're going to wrap it up and do it again next week. So, once again, I am Kiki, and my goal really is to teach us to be in flow, teach us to learn how to embrace change, embrace discomfort, and recognize that our pain is actually like a portal, and we can turn it into purpose when we are not fighting against it, when we're actually going in the flow of it, the flow with it, and being present in it. And that's one of the things that celebrating the moon cycles and just recognizing and studying what's going on in the sky, what I'm learning is that it allows me to be more obedient to recognizing that there is a time and a place for everything under the sun. It's allowing me to recognize a lot of God's word and scripture and just obedience when it comes to the spirit. And it allows me to be in flow with the energy, even if it's challenging. Being in flow with the energy, even though it's uncomfortable. Being in the flow of the energy or with the energy so that I can allow it to carry me into my next season, my next blessing, my next thing. Allowing the energy to encourage me, to challenge me, and to ultimately help me grow so that my outer world looks like my inner world. And so that's what I want to be able to do for you. And I hope that that's something that we've been able to accomplish together over here on this channel. Yeah, we want to turn pain into profit, and not just profit of material wealth, which is great and awesome too, but allowing our souls to be prosperous and profitable, allowing our internal self to be at peace, to have clarity, to have understanding, to feel love, to feel supported, to feel meaningful or purposeful, or to know that you're valuable and you're worthy and you feel worthy. You feel the the worth of yourself. Okay, you feel your own self-worth. All right. So let's go ahead and ground our energy. So as I dig in to find some lotion or something, just go ahead and sit back and check in with your spine as we start to take deep breaths in through the nose. Long exhales out through the mouth. Again, in through the nose. Long exhales out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Allowing ourselves to become more and more relaxed, settled in, comfortable. Allowing our shoulders to feel at ease. Allowing our jawline to feel relaxed. allowing our bodies to really feel balanced and aligned, feeling the full support of the earth underneath us, just allowing our full body weight to just relax and feel the earth holding you up. You don't have to be uptight. You don't have to clench. You don't have to hold any tension because Mother Earth is fully supporting you at all times. Just take a moment to feel that grounded connection, connecting with the feeling of being fully supported. Connect with the feeling of being weightless. No burden to carry, no burden to put on anyone else. Just allowing ourselves to feel the comfort, the solidity, and the stability of the earth. I just see like concrete, just strong, stable, not moving, not going anywhere, completely cured, freestanding, fully stable, self-supporting, just a block of rock, of strength. And just allow yourself to feel that solid concrete foundation of a footing that the earth puts underneath you. You can completely let yourself relax. Put all of your weight on Mother Earth. And as you allow yourself to feel that connection, we thank you, Mother Earth, for always being our source of grounding. For always being our source of stability and support. We feel grounded, we feel safe, we feel secure, we feel supported. We ask our ancestors of love, divine healing, spiritually supportive, to come in and join us as we set the intentions to ground, heal, balance, and activate our energy. With the design of the cosmos supporting us, we ask that you protect us, close any doors, block any energies or spirits of low vibration that do not serve our best and highest good. Block it out. We thank you again in advance. It is done. And just allow yourself to come back to the room, slowly wiggling fingers and toes and opening your eyes. Yes. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. All right. So let's jump on in. So last quarter moons are for releasing, of course, releasing and preparing for a fresh cycle, right? We're getting ready to go into a new moon. So we'll have this clean slate, this blank slate to start fresh, right? Start another, either we can look at it as 2 week, 1 month, or 6 month cycle. But for now, we'll just look at it as a 2 week cycle. But we're going into this new moon. We're making room. We're clearing out and making space for what's coming in. So what do we want to release, right? So the moon, for the last quarter, the highest point of the moon was actually in Virgo. And so today the moon has shifted into Sagittarius. But by the time, of course, we have our new moon, the moon will be in the sign of Aquarius. And there's been a lot going on in Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, and we're going to dig into that. So the top transits that we have going on in the sky this week are really two, but we've had three others in the last few weeks that are still carrying some pretty powerful energy. But this week on the 10th, which was yesterday, Eastern time, we had the planet of Venus moving into Pisces, the sign of Pisces. So Venus typically has a pretty quick transit, long enough to give you some love and make you feel good, but definitely constantly moving, right? It doesn't stay around too long. So Venus typically takes about 7.5 months to complete a full cycle, right? So we divide that by 12. Venus can spend anywhere from like 23 to 60 days in a sign at a time. This just depends on the ecliptic and it depends on retrogrades, all that stuff. But Venus can spend anywhere from 23 to 60 days in a sign. Venus is the planet of love, beauty, relationships, attraction, harmony, money, values. What else? Aesthetics, pleasure, things of that sort, right? And she's shifted. I call her a she because it gives me feminine energy, not in a bad way, but just like a nurturing, loving kind of energy. Shifting into the sign of Pisces. Pisces is a sign of intuition, spirituality, the unseen, unconscious. Can also be considered like compassionate, dreamy, sensitive. Okay. I don't know if you know a Pisces, but hopefully that's how you feel about them. I know a couple, and I have some female Pisces friends that have been pretty good to me. But male Pisces that I came in contact with, I don't know. But I digress. But I hope that you feel that Pisces do kind of bring some spiritual sense, or some type of intuitive, emotional groundedness, right? In good energy. Of course, we can all have negative, low vibrational energy or unhealthy energy in any sign, any astrological house. There's always that, dark shadow aspect to everything. And to me, that when it comes to Pisces, it could look like, escapism, delusion, having no boundaries, no standards, no, just that kind of energy, right? So the planet of love and beauty is moving into the sign of intuition and spirituality, right? And so it's like, what does that mean for you? What does that say to you? Of course, all of us have, different placements in our natal charts. Might be good to see what house Pisces rules for you and see where your natal Venus is, because you could be feeling the energy in those houses. So where's your natal Venus, right? What house does Pisces rule for you, right? And then this energy, whether you're a sun, moon, or rising sign, right? You're going to feel this energy possibly in that area of life in that particular house, if you will. So like, anyway, we'll dig more into it. So long story short, um, that's what's happening right now. Venus has moved into Pisces and will be there. I gotta double check to see when she actually will move. I think so. She'll shift into Aries. So there'll be like a fresh energy coming with that. I am getting a sense that Pisces season is definitely going to be hopefully like a emotional like relief, not just releasing, but you're feeling more understood, or maybe you're able to communicate better emotionally, whether it be with yourself or with others. But there's definitely like an energy where you're going to be able to kind of take a breather and have like a or have like some type of relief, like a weight lifted, like you're going to get some level of understanding. That's what I'm getting from how the energy is like brewing and stirring up or rising up. Thanks for the likes. Okay, anything else I want to say there? No. So then we have on February 13th, Saturn, who's in Pisces, is going to shift into Aries. And this is a pretty big deal because Saturn is a planet, of course, that has a much longer transit. So Saturn takes 29 and a half years to do a complete cycle around the sun. So therefore, it spends about 2.5 years in each sign, right? So this energy of Saturn moving into Aries is like a kickoff. Okay, Saturn's a planet of, oh my goodness, discipline, structure, authority. It's a planet of challenges and limitations, lessons, responsibility, right? It could be like your professional life or represent your professional life, how you mature or your maturity level. Definitely can represent also boundaries. And it's moving into the sign of Aries. Aries is a sign of boldness, being courageous, being assertive, driven by action and future focused. Okay, Aries kicks things off like leaders, initiators, right? So we're getting this karmic, authoritative, discipline Saturn moving through the sign of Aries. And so to me, it's like Saturn doesn't move that fast, right? Saturn has a more grounded, slower moving kind of energy, whereas Aries can be, spitfire, if you will. So to me, this is saying that we could be feeling, you know, a little more confident even when it comes to like who we are wholeheartedly. Like when we're standing 10 toes down, when we're standing firmly in who we are, who we know ourselves to be. Aries is going to pull out the courage, the leadership responsibility, the like taking initiative kind of energy, but it's saying you're going to be taking initiative, and or you're going to have the energy to support you in taking the initiative to express yourself, to govern yourself, to have authority and control over yourself. And you're not going to be afraid to like do it on your own or do it without applause, compliments, cheers. You might be just kind of encouraging yourself, just speaking life and love and light into yourself. Um, that's the energy I get from it. It's definitely not going to be possibly easy. Of course, it depends on quite a bit of things in our natal charts, but it may not be a very comfortable energy. It may take some time before we kind of get used to it. Um, but we do have this energy supporting us through 2028. Saturn will be supporting us in being more disciplined. Like I said, being, more of a leader, taking more action. We're definitely more bold when it comes to who we are. Like, we're not standing for certain things. We're not settling. We're kind of putting our foot down. We're drawing a line in the sand. We're setting some boundaries. Okay. Saturn coming out of Pisces is definitely going to kind of give us like a reality check. And it's eating away. It's already been clearing out the delusions and the things that like aren't real, the fantasies. Okay. Anything that has us like too far in the clouds where we're not grounded, we're not balanced, and we're not realistic. That's what's going on in the sky. Mercury is currently in Pisces. He moved there on February 6th. Mercury, a planet of communication, information, social media, language, all things words, letters, moved into Pisces as well. And all of these, planets actually just were together in a stellium in the sign of Aquarius. And now they've shifted from Aquarius into Pisces. And then we're also going into Pisces season. So that's why I think Pisces season is going to be pretty beneficial to us. I don't see it being difficult. It might be difficult if we're struggling with change, if we're struggling with accepting reality, if we're struggling with boundaries or some sense of truth or some sense of balance. It could be tough. But that's why we're sharing it now, because now that when you know better, you do better. So now that you know that the energy might be a little tough, you know that the energy might be a little challenging, what are you going to do so that you can be in flow with the energy? How are you going to show up for yourself? What actions are you going to take? Since you know that we're going into this energy, you're going to be called to dig in intuitively. You're going to be called to mature, grow up, be more disciplined. We're going to be called to set boundaries, possibly could be in relationships. Some of our old patterns and old habits are definitely going to start to surface if they're not already. It's like, how are we going to show up differently? What are we going to do this time? What are we going to do that is going to allow us to be in flow and not resistant, not trying to control things, not trying to find an easy way out, no escapism, right? We're standing firm on who we are and what we believe in, right? So what are we going to do? So I think that it's always good to set intentions. So you could say something like, I know that going into the next 2 to 4 weeks, possibly, and even for the next 6 months, because we have a new moon coming up soon, and we'll be planting seeds there, right? So I know that I might be called to speak up. I might be called to be more disciplined, take more responsibility. I might be called to, like I said, be more mature, right? Or take action, like to be a doer. Turning things from like a thought to something tangible. That's what we're being called to step up, basically. And it's like, okay, well, how am I going to step up? So when I feel this energy come towards me and maybe it's uncomfortable, maybe it doesn't feel good, it requires me to change or make a different decision, what am I going to do? Am I going to give myself 3 deep breaths? Am I going to go and do a meditation and clear my mind and see what comes in? Am I going to go read a book? Am I going to go take a walk? What am I going to do? Am I going to crack open a Bible story? Am I going to journal? What am I going to do that's going to allow me to break any old habits that have kept me in a cycle in these areas that I no longer want, that I know is holding me back? Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right. Um, let's see. Oh, Mars. Mars also shifted into Aquarius on January 23rd. And Mars, I don't have Mars transit written down. Let me see. Mars's transit is not as, it's not very short, not very long either. It's a little bit longer than Venus. And shorter than Saturn's. But Mars in Aquarius is another area of feeling confident in who you are. Even maybe your rebellious shadow. Like you know how to go within, you know how to isolate yourself in a healthy way. You know how to focus on your dreams and your goals. You know how to tune in. That's what that energy says to me. You know how to like kick off a hibernation, or you know how to start like a new a new cycle, like to be innovative. You know how to create something, like to start over, right? That's what that energy gives me. And then Neptune is in Aries, and of course will be joined by Saturn soon. They were both in Pisces for some time. Neptune's transit, let me see. So yeah, Neptune has a pretty long transit. And so Neptune and Saturn were together in Pisces for at least 2 years. So kind of think about like the last 2 years or so, and maybe even the 2 years before that. So anywhere from the last 2 to 4 years, what could have been, I actually have some better time frames, like actual months, but either way, just thinking over the last 2 years or so, like I said, 2 to 4 years, anything that you have let go of, anything that you can actually be thankful that for sure that you've released something or someone or some place or something about ourselves, even like we've released a certain version of ourselves. That has been something you've done over the last 2 to 4 years. It's interesting because 4 years is pretty significant for me when it comes to relationships. So is 2 years, 2 to 4 years. But one of my lessons that I carried with me from my high school relationship, relationship with my high school sweetheart, when that relationship was over, I felt like we were breaking up for 2 to 4 years. We were in the process of breaking up over a course of like 2 to 4 years. And it was not a fun time. It sucked. But what I will say is when that was finally over, like I knew that was done. When I went into my next relationship, I knew that 4 years would be my limit for any type of bullshit. Like I knew that I could not, if I was in a relationship with someone and I look I look back after 4 years or 2 years, like it's like an evaluation of 2 years. I look back and we're in the same place or same position we were in when we first started, and the relationship isn't like necessarily growing. Like we're still kind of having the same conversations, might be having my oh my gosh. They don't want me to talk. They don't want me to talk. I look back over a 2 to 4 year period and we're like we may be having some of the same arguments. And it may not even, like I said, I'm not talking about small petty stuff. I'm talking about like big deal stuff, right? So if I look back and it's like we're arguing about the same thing, or I don't feel like we've emotionally grown or we spiritually grown, like, you know what I mean? That was my limit. And I literally went into my next relationship. And when we reached that 4 year mark and we had like a familiar argument that was like not changing and it was the same old song, oh my gosh, I knew I was over. It was done for me. I knew that it was a wrap for me. And I walked away from that thing based on the timing, and of course the other details around it, but the timing. I said, it's 4 years. This has not changed. This has not shifted. I'm going to have to pull back from this. And I did. And I'm glad I did. Oh my goodness. Looking now, probably what? I don't know, 8, 12, 14 years later, I'm happy that I did. So you could definitely be feeling some shifts and changes in relationships. Not just like relationships, like romantic relationships, but you could also be feeling it in friendships, maybe even in family. Okay. Like you're starting to see like where you may not be aligned. You're starting to see like certain relationships for maybe what they really are. Um, and really breaking down the illusions around relationships that are like for show, or um, they just have history or a lot of time behind them. It's like the substance of the relationship has withered away and it's gone. Like it's just different, and not in a good way. It's not like we're growing together. We're growing apart. You could be feeling that. Let me know if you're feeling that. Where relationships are shifting. So just while I'm saying that, I want to let everyone know, first off, you're still here. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and definitely subscribe. But I if you like to like schedule a coaching call, if you want to just ask me a question, you can feel free to dump it in the comments. I do read the comments. I like reading comments. Um, or you can send me an email. Everything you need to know about me is in the description box. So don't hesitate to reach out and ask me any questions. Because ultimately, what I have learned through not just dealing with my pain and allowing it to move me into purpose, but that profit piece, I'm almost certain that healing certain aspects or walking away or letting go of certain relationships or certain commitments and just things that we sometimes just kind of tie to ourselves or attach ourselves to, like learning to say no to certain things, right? And not having an explanation, like letting no be a complete sentence, like that kind of energy, like breaking out of that people pleasing. Every time that I have forgiven something or someone, or I realize a certain spirit and I reset my boundaries to where I can deal with that energy or that spirit in a way that's not going to drain me or make me less than, I feel like I get rewarded with like a financial blessing, especially every 2 to 4 years. And that, I mean, that could have a lot to do with, the sky. Um, but I'm telling you, a lot of times, certain levels of healing, not only does it bless you internally, but it blesses you externally. And you come up. Your pockets get fatter. You might even gain a little bit of weight, but like you come up. Like, I can't even really say anything more than that. It could be you came up on a raise, you came up on a, a job opportunity of a lifetime. You came up on a bonus. You got way more money back on your taxes, like legitimately, right? You purchased a home, a car, or like maybe you invested in something. Like you shifted some financial aspect of your life with some blessing by having faith, taking a leap of faith, choosing yourself, choosing peace. Like I've realized that has happened over and over and over for me, and I want to share with people how to manifest, how to not to just manifest your dreams and your desires and your goals, but to also be able to focus on your healing, focusing on your soul work, where the blessings start to run you down and chase you down, you know, and you have options. You can choose, you can reject and say no. Like, you don't have any reason to be codependent. You don't have any reason to feel less than or uh, have any spirit of lack. You can truly just respond and decide from a place of clarity and grace and goodness. And that's what we do when we take things from our visions that God has placed in us and we manifest them into the 3D. And I've been able to do it over and over and over again. And a lot of it I can tie to the work and the way that I choose to challenge myself spiritually. I hope that makes sense. All right, let's see. I think that we can do a card. If you want to schedule a coaching call, like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to comment or send me an email and we will go from there. But I am here to be a shaman, a guide through the darkness, um, leading you to the light, your light, helping you find the path within, helping you find your way, your way. All right, just being able to support you, uplift you, encourage you, and definitely hold you accountable. Okay. Accountability is very important over here. So is integrity. Those things, when you're able to maintain those types of personality traits or character traits, they come with big rewards because it really is a beautiful thing to be trusted. It's a beautiful thing to be someone that people can feel comfortable with, feel safe with, feel supported, feel encouraged. Um, there's no hidden animosity, there's no hate. There's, like, people that are someone who's going to root for you like you know what I mean? Or root for you like they're sharing all that joy with you, because they are. And there are some of us out here that we feel what others feel. And we can genuinely or are genuinely happy for people to win. All right. Somebody do not want me to talk, and that's fine. Open this one. So let's go ahead, and I think that's all I had to say. So yeah, schedule a coaching call with me. Come on in. All right, let's jump into the Moonology deck. And go from there. Please let me know where you're from. Let me know what resonates for you, what you like, what you don't like, or what doesn't resonate. I'm here for it all. Questions, comments, concerns, criticisms. I like to open it up. I like to get a dialogue going where we can share thoughts. We can share experiences. ultimately, we can share investments. Holy Spirit, ancestors of divine love and healing light, please protect us as we download the messages for our best and highest good. Anything that's not for our best and highest good, please close, shut, lock, and lock that door. In the name of our guides. Amen. All right. Oh, we also have an eclipse season coming up next week. Well, eclipse season is coming up, and we have an eclipse next week. This card. You are very close to achieving your goal. Give us moon. Look at that. It's a pretty picture. Let's see if we can get something to jump out. A win-win outcome is on the forecast was on the bottom of the deck. Now we got some to jump out, and we got another 3. It's time to take action. New moon in Aries, heavy Aries energy. We've been talking about that all night. Work through your fears. New moon in Scorpio. Interesting. Scorpio is a water sign, just like Pisces. Work through your fears. Don't let your past hold you back. This is definitely the energy of like the last quarter. It's like letting go of the past, releasing what's been holding us back. I also can see a lot of green here. That's giving me like heart chakra energy, you know, healing our heart, doing good things for our hearts. And we got purple, and Aries is like a orange, reddish kind of color. So that's giving me definitely like, you know, lower chakras, root, sacral, solar. So that taking action, that's confirmation here. And then we have that intuitive Pisces energy with this Scorpio. Like I said, that water sign energy, and that blue is giving me that third eye. Because you got like an indigo, I believe, in the throat, and like a blue, or maybe indigo is here, purple. Anywho, upper chakra energy. So it's like we're in a little bit of a duality. We're moving into Pisces season. Pisces is definitely a sign of duality. So we're going to be called to just be intentional about grounding. The other thing I'll say about these cards, like look at how these 2 green cards are very open, like open to the sky. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't read this one. You're very close to achieving your, no, my bad. Don't let your past hold you back. South Node. That's the, that was the card. So very open, like to the sky, kind of open. And then we have these 2 new moons. Very dual energy, water, fire, right? New moon in Scorpio, new moon in Aries. But look at how they're both new moons, both clean slates. On the bottom of the deck, we have look at the bigger picture, full moon in Sagittarius. It's time to take action and don't let the past hold you back or kind of sticking out. But we're definitely working through our fears. And I, if you're in alignment with the energy over here, you could feel like you're achieving your goals, like you're feeling more grounded and more secure, more stable in moving towards your goals. Like you're being called and like tugged on to like go in a direction of your dreams. Okay, like I said, bringing our dreams to fruition. All right, new moon in Aries, and then we'll read this South Node. Excuse me. New moon in Aries. It's time to take action. I believe this came out recently too. The flame is lit. A wonderful new start beckons, and you're on the right track. Drawing this card is a superbly positive sign if there is something you want to happen in your life. Take this card as a big yes from the universe. This is the time to really tune into your dreams. You may still have a long way to go, After all, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, but you're on your way. Determination, self assertion, and bravery are called for. But the hot fire of Aries is driving you towards success in whatever endeavor you're asking about. The caution: don't go too fast and forget your manners. Treat people well as you charge towards your goals. You'll create much better karma for yourself. Attune to the moon. Don't even think about giving up. Additional meanings for this card: do your best and be happy with that. Avoid being brash right now. You need a 12-month plan. A new male is coming into your life. Ew. The teaching. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So the new moon in Aries is the first of the 12 or 13 new moons of the year. If you're committed to working with all the lunations, then the new moon in Aries is the right time to start. And drawing this card, no matter when you do it, signifies it's also the ideal time to start your moon work, and such as setting intentions. Hella confirmation here. So we talked about how we're being called to be courageous, bold, courageous, Aries, self-assertive, right? Taking action. Boom. We get a taking action card. We have planets, Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries, kicking off a generational societal shift. This is a powerful shift that goes beyond ourselves and our individualness. It ripples out into the community around us, the people we're connected to, possibly even society as a whole, globally, even. These planets carry generational societal energy shifts. So you don't necessarily feel the energy smack dab on the day that it comes in. Like I said, you could, depending on how you're tuned into these planets and these particular signs. But just having these planets in any sign together is going to be pretty powerful. And coming out of that Piscean energy and moving into that fiery Kickstarter Aries, it's like a shockwave. It's definitely like it gives me like a rocket launcher kind of energy. It's like going from like a daze or like being completely out and having to like sprint right away. Like just, you know what I mean? I mean, that sounds really good, but the energy of 2026 is the fire horse. And I just feel like this is all, it's almost like the horse is like just revving his engine if he had one, right? Just, I mean, just getting ready to just take off. Okay. So we got the confirmation that we have a lot of positive signs. There's a big yes for whatever we want to happen in our life. That's what we are releasing tonight to make room for what we want, what our dreams are, bringing our dreams to fruition. That was another confirmation. It said that we could possibly still have a long way to go as we're like kickstarting some of these things, but we are on our way. Being self-assertive and brave is being called for. We talked about that, being courageous. Don't go too fast. That's the energy of the like the colder winter months, that hibernation. So it's a time of like going within, and we people of course don't necessarily hibernate like, you know, like sleeping through it, but we're doing the diligence. You know how the animals basically like work to prepare for hibernation? So they are working to prepare for going within, right? They're storing up food. They could possibly be gaining weight or eating to put on maybe like more weight, like polar bears and things like that, or animals that can carry like a flubber to protect themselves from the cold weather. They could be gaining weight. It's like that kind of energy. Like you're diligently working, but you're doing it in a very routine, steady way, right? But still taking action. You're not sitting back and just dreaming about it or just letting the thoughts be in your head. Treat people well. Okay, that was another confirmation I talked about with relationships. You might be realizing that some relationships are shifting, and it's allowing you to either see things more clearly, and you're able to balance and maybe set boundaries. And then it's allowing room for relationships to come in that are truly aligned with you. Okay. Um, so it's like, don't do anybody wrong while you're focused on your goals, but you could care less what anybody thinks about your goals or your personal initiatives and what you want to do for yourself. You could care. You don't need any validation. You don't need any direction. You know what you want to do, and you're going to you're moving in that direction. That's the energy. It's like, you don't want to be disrespectful, but I love you, but I gotta go. Or I love you, but I'm going to go do this. You can come with me, that's great. And if you don't, that's fine too. It's that kind of energy. It's not like you know, you're not trying to be a jerk. All right, let's read the next one. Don't let your past hold you back. South Node. Is this the last one? Oh no. It's almost, the North Node is actually the last message. All right. This is going to be a good one. The South Node, like the North Node, is a karmic point, but it's opposite to the North Node and relates to the past, perhaps even to past lives. Whatever you're going through and whatever you're asking about, there's a chance that age-old programming and conditioning is stopping you from achieving all that you might. Do you feel stuck in something? This card will often come as a sign that the situation or relationship you're asking about has somehow become suffocating, even toxic. It suggests that someone, even you, needs to be released, that there's some kind of addiction going on or an unhealthy attachment that needs to be sorted out. One thing is for sure, when you get this card, you're being challenged to make some changes, even if staying where you are feels easier and safer. We literally, we literally just talked about this. Literally, attuned to the moon. I release the past. Additional meanings. A karmic relationship. A relationship is karmic and has played out across many lifetimes. Your attraction to someone may be verging on the obsessive. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. The teaching. The South Node is where the moon crosses the ecliptic going south. On the horoscope chart, it shows us what we are likely to become obsessed with, but which will probably do us little to no good. The South Node is the karmic astrological point that reminds us of the well-known phrase, if you always do what you always done, you'll always get what you've always got. Listen, listen. What they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. It's not smart. It's less than smart. So if you want to get something that you never got, you're going to have to do something that you've never done. And that's what we're doing. That's what Saturn and Neptune and these planets moving into Aries are kicking us off. We've closed out a cycle where we are stuck in delusionment or we're not being realistic. And we're moving into a place or a phase of making something happen, not controlling, not from a obsessive standpoint, but from an inflow. This is what I have to focus on. This is what I have to be in routine with right now. That's the energy. Look at the bigger picture. That's it. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Let's get a divine master. We got a few minutes. And see what the healing divine master's oracle is telling us. So Pisces season is going to be a turn up. It's going to be there's going to be some revelation, but definitely like a relief. I just get like this emotional relief. Like you'll get something validated. Ooh. The divine director, trust the process. Create space for divine order to unfold. Come on, Holy Spirit. If that ain't the last quarter moon, I don't know what is. Create space for the divine order to unfold. Look at this. Look at this being. That's like that's a supernatural being, or a being that could have like supernatural abilities. Or I'm just so glad that it came out as like a being and not necessarily masculine or feminine. Let's see what's on the bottom. Hathor, light activation, acceleration, brilliance, stand in your light. All right, let's read the divine director. I got a feeling this is going to be good. Sweet. The divine director. The divine director is an advanced cosmic light being from the heart of Source who is dedicated to helping Earth and all her inhabitants align with divine purpose. He is one of the more elusive divine masters. Part extraterrestrial, part angel, he can take many forms, but in most cases looks like a character from Star Trek. He works closely with the angels to ensure they are fulfilling their duties and helping the humans they are charged with protecting. Your message: you are being guided to stop trying to micromanage the universe. Sometimes events are beyond human comprehension, and thus, trying to figure out the finer details of your life may be holding you back rather than taking you forward. When the divine director comes to you, you are being invited to trust that there is a purpose behind what is unfolding. The choices and circumstances and challenges you are facing will lead you to know and trust yourself at a deeper level. If you find yourself not knowing where to go from here, there's a good chance that there's an aspect of your life that you have refrained from dealing with, healing, or sharing. In order for the next step to be revealed to you, you are encouraged to address the aspects of your life that you have overlooked, for when you do so, you allow the energetic wheels of the universe to take you forward. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Come on. First of all, trust the process. Create space for the divine order to unfold. So this being is connected to Source, part extraterrestrial and part angel. Being elusive. Look at how he came out. I haven't seen this card in a long time. Look how he popped out, right? Like, I'm here. And look at this. Look at the colors. Look at how this blends. Hold on. Let me get it. Let me get it together. Even with the reddish, orangish, but like look at the balance. Oh, I'm missing a card. Look at the balance. The greens and the blues and the red. Anyway. We have angels protecting us. Guardian angels, archangels, spirit guides, spirit babies, divine masters, ascended masters. Like, we have a lot of spiritual beings protecting us. Okay. This whole, you're being guided to stop trying to micromanage the universe. That's cutting out that control, trying to control. And when I say trying to control, I don't necessarily mean like abusive, which it could be, but controlling where something, you're obsessed with something and you're holding on to an outcome. You're attached to a certain outcome that you just won't let go of, that kind of obsession and controlling, like not letting God be God, not letting the divine take the wheel, not letting Jesus take the wheel, not allowing your angels to guide you properly. Okay, as we just hit the 1 hour mark, like trusting. That's the season we're in. We're in a season of trusting. My word for the year is surrender. Sometimes events are beyond human comprehension, and trying to figure out the details could be holding you back rather than taking you forward. We think about the past so much, we replay the past so much, we put ourselves in these negative thought loops, we talk crazy to ourselves, we tell ourselves that certain things aren't going to work out, our dreams can't come true, we can't be the person that we really are, we got to lie about everything that we're not doing because we are trying to present some representative to people that of a person that we're not even, we can't even maintain this person, that kind of energy. That's why I said those delusions, like it's been checked. It's been checked. Neptune and Saturn are going to do that. They're going to check the delusion. They're going to check where you're not being realistic and where you don't have the balance. That's the energy. When the divine director comes to you, you are being invited to trust that there is a purpose behind what is unfolding. Trust the process, right? Trust the process. Know that the pain or the discomfort is preparing you for what's next, the next you, the next new you, the next version of you. Okay? And these choices and circumstances and challenges are going to lead you to knowing yourself and trusting yourself on a deeper level. All right? Let me know if that resonates. Let me know if you're struggling with that energy, if you're not feeling connected, like if you're feeling like it's resistant or you're having a hard time being in alignment with that energy, so we can deal with what may be causing the block and could be holding you back. Okay? Let the universe, the energetic wheels of the universe, take you forward. Trust God. All right. I love you, but God loves you more. Always go within so you never go without. And over here, we stay connected to the ones that sit high, look low, and see everything. Thank you for coming out. God bless you. Good night. And we'll see you next week.